Hey, we're Alex and Connor from Acts of Adventure, and today we're going to show you around our van.
Our van is a 2017 Ram Promaster 2500. It's the 159 non-extended wheelbase.
We bought the van in January of 2019 and we spent a full year converting it, and we started living in it full time in January of 2020.
Our van is powered by 800 watts of solar power and there's no propane. Also, we have a full wet bath with a shower, 2 places where we can put up laptops and work. And we built a full garage under our bed to hold 2 mountain bikes, 2 backpacking backpacks, and all of our other outdoor gear. Another thing we wanted for our van was a non-toxic living space because it's so small. So we used things like zero VOC paints and Havelock sheep's wool insulation. So because of the sheep's wool, our van's name is Vanillin, after lanolin. All right, let's take a look inside our van. So when you first walk in, you see our bench area and our first main workspace. We designed this bench area so that 2 people can sit side by side. We can enjoy a meal together, we can play games, but also it's a great big space for us to have a laptop, hard drives, everything else we need to do work from as well. The table itself is on a Lagoon swivel mount. Underneath our bench, we have 2 sliding doors that have tons of storage for all of our camera gear. Another thing that we built into the front of the bench area is a 10 outlet extension cord from the inverter in the back, so we can charge camera batteries, laptops right here in our workspace. Now we're looking above our workbench area. We have 2 of our overhead cabinets. Right here we have food storage for the kitchen, and this cabinet stores most of our general items like toiletries, some work items, and things like that. Next, our second workspace is actually our passenger seat. The seat swivels around and we have another Lagoon table mount where we can put a small table for this seat. Over the cab, we have some storage in the headliner area. We insulated the headliner with Thinsulate. Other than that, we kept it pretty much the same, and we use it to stuff things like jackets, towels, some backpacks. So right here at our doorway, we have our dual zone LED light dimmer switch. It's great because we have 5 lights in the front area and 4 over our bed, and we can control them independently.
Moving on from our workstation, we're going to go into our wet bath area, and the first feature is this Nautilus retractable self-cleaning door, which we've really liked a lot. And then we also put a light in the shower, and that has been really nice because since we can reach it from our bed, it's the first light we turn on in the morning and the last one we turn off at night. We installed the MaxxAir fan right in front of our shower, and since it's centrally located in the van, we get a really nice cross breeze from all 3 of our windows. Since our color scheme in the van is black and white, we just went with a matte black shower head, and we also put this soap dispenser in here, and it's held up with glue, and it's nice because we don't have to have any like shampoo or soap bottles lying around in the shower. We have a 4-gallon Bosch hot water tank, which is enough water for us each to take 5-minute showers. We have a Nature's Head composting toilet, and we have to change the solids about every 3 weeks and the liquids about every 2 days. It's honestly a bit of a pain to change them that often, but we're super thankful that we have a toilet in our van because we use it a lot. Moving into the shower, we assembled it using FRP board, which we adhered to plywood, and then we also installed an RV shower pan. We ended up putting a custom wooden shower mat over the pan just because it made it look a lot better, and it also holds our toilet in place. If you want to see step-by-step how we built our shower, we wrote a blog post all about it, and we'll put that link in the description below the video.
Alright guys, next up we have our kitchen area. We spend a lot of time here because we do like to cook our meals all from scratch. So our kitchen has everything crammed into a pretty tiny little space, but it definitely gets the job done. First off, we've got a 2-burner radiant electric stovetop. Like I mentioned earlier, the whole van is run off of solar power, batteries, and electrical. So this is a 120 volt appliance. It plugs into our inverter, which is a 2000 watt inverter. And unfortunately, that's a little bit too small for this appliance to run both cooktops at the same time. So right now, we're limited to cooking on one at a time. We're going to upgrade to a 3000 watt inverter so we can run both of these cooktops. Right in front of our stovetop in our sliding door, we have a awning style window. This is great when you're cooking because you can vent the cooking condensation directly up from the window and out of the fan right above my head. Our next kitchen appliance directly under the stove is our fridge. It's a truck fridge TF130, pretty much the biggest that we could find. It's a regular opening door style fridge, not a chest fridge, and it's huge. Our only qualm with it is probably that the freezer is pretty small. It's barely big enough to fit a pint of ice cream if you like smush the pint, and we can fit just maybe 2 or 3 other things in the freezer. Other than that, we love it. It's a really low consumption and it's huge. It fits our space really well and it keeps with our black and white theme. Our countertop is a birch butcher block from Home Depot, and we stained this with completely non-toxic and food-safe tung oil and citrus solvent from Real Milk Paints. Turned out beautifully. We love it. And what we did is cut out a sink that's more of a farmhouse style. It's actually a countertop sink, but we sunk it underneath. Now, we really like how this looks, but it's a very shallow sink, especially as your main kitchen sink. It's a little bit too small. It gets dirty really easily. It's white matte stone, so it seems a little bit more porous than like metal, for example. Above our sink, we wanted a residential size faucet, which is helpful for having such a small sink that this is up so high. Next to our main faucet, we have a smaller water filter faucet that goes through a 3-stage water filtration system. And then finally, we just have a little soap dispenser as well. I'll tell you guys a little bit about our water system, what we have under the sink, what we have in the back. So the main water tank is 27 gallons. We also have that 4-gallon hot water heater. The hot water does not go to our sink, it only goes to the shower. The gray water we have underneath our sink, that's a 7-gallon gray water tank. We find that fills up about every 3 days until we have to find a place to dump that. So also in our kitchen, we built this divider between the bed and the kitchen area, and we used a vinyl tile backsplash on it just to make it look more like a home kitchen. Really like how that turned out. And as you'll see here, we have some outlets on this divider wall. This is for the kitchen light. And this is a GFCI outlet that goes to our inverter. We use this to power all of our kitchen appliances, like a little hot water kettle and anything else that you might need to plug in the kitchen. So one thing we get the most comments about in our kitchen is our banana hammock. It's been great for holding our fruit, vegetables, pretty much anything. And it also has an integrated paper towel holder, so it serves 2 purposes there. This spice rack is specifically for you ProMaster owners out there. It's really difficult to know how to cover the C column right here, so I asked on the ProMaster Build Out group on Facebook. One of the recommendations was a spice rack. This is how it turned out. We love it. It's super nice to have spices that are really accessible, and it makes that C column look a lot better than just putting a piece of wood over it. Overhead in the kitchen, we have another cabinet, just one big cabinet, and it's recessed further in than our other cabinets so that you don't hit your head when you're right in the kitchen. This has all of our cups, utensils, and especially coffee. Under our sink, we have 2 cabinets. The tall skinny one has things like our utensils and our trash and recycling. We really like having a separate trash and a separate recycling. And under our sink, we have our gray water tank, 7 gallons I told you about earlier. We also store all of our pots and pans, and all of the water system, the water filter, the water pump, and the accumulator are behind this cabinet, which makes them easily accessible too. It's also worth mentioning that on these 2 cabinets, we have RV cabinet latches. We didn't need to use them on any of our overhead cabinets because of the gas struts that keep them open and closed. But since these don't open the same way, they will flap open while you're driving, and we did have to put those RV catches. For a list of all the items we use in our kitchen, including all the appliances, be sure to check out our van parts list PDF that you can download for free at the link in the description. Now I'm coming to you from our toilet seat. going to talk about all these monitors and switches that we've got right here. So up top is our battery monitor, followed by the solar charge controller, our hot water heater switch. This little guy right here is the WeBoost, followed by the inverter and the water pump. So everything we need is right here on this panel. It also has room if we need to add anything else, like we want to add a water level monitor. For the WeBoost right here, we actually ran it from the backup camera housing all the way under our bed, all the way through our kitchen, and the receptor is right next to our fridge. That way, since we work up in the front area, we get the best WeBoost signal there as well. And the little black WeBoost puck fits perfectly with our black fridge, blends right in. You might be wondering why this is so ugly. Originally, we wanted to put a cabinet door right here, but this is the step up to our bed. So if we put a solid door, it would get in the way of our feet getting in and out of bed every time. We haven't really figured out a workaround. So if you guys think of anything for this space to cover it up, let us know in the comments. We're all ears. Next to our ugly monitor area is our equally awkward, tall, skinny laundry drawer. Now we're super thankful to have a laundry drawer. It's something that a lot of van lifers don't think about. This one pulls out and we were able to put our stinky laundry under our bed, out of sight, out of mind. This is the first drawer I ever built. So it takes a little bit of finesse. And comes out about that far. But that's all you need to put your dirty laundry in there.
No, latch it.
Before we tell you guys about the bed, the garage, all of our solar, last few things to finish up in the interior are our flooring. So we have a 1/2 inch polyiso insulation and then a 3/4 inch subfloor of plywood. On top of the plywood, we wanted a really Scandinavian look, so we went with this very light maple laminate flooring. We love the look of it, but all of that still makes our floor pretty cold. So in the winter, what we needed was a nice runner rug. We got this super colorful one from rugs.com, and it's been a great splash of color in our otherwise minimal area, and it keeps our feet warm. We also built this insulated step that goes between the cab and the living area. This was an exposed area of metal, so there was a lot of cold drafts that came in from there. Above this insulated step area and below our passenger seat is where we installed the Espar B4L heater. It's a gas heater, not diesel, so it taps right into the Promaster's gas tank. Also, it's got the automatic altitude adjustment, which is great because we go from the mountains to the desert all the time. We've been really pleased with the heater. We've had a few hiccups with Espar and Heatso, the supplier, but when the heater works, it works amazingly. It's kept us warm all winter.
So now we come to one of my favorite parts of our van, which is our bed. We call it the perch. As you can probably tell, it's not the easiest to get in and out of, and that's because we had to put the bed frame 36 inches high in order to fit our mountain bikes underneath the bed. We installed 2 C.R. Lawrence awning style windows at the foot and the head of our bed. This makes it less claustrophobic back here, and it also gives us a cross breeze, which is really nice when we sleep. We love these windows because you can keep them open in the rain, and also condensation just drips right off of them. This is actually the highest you can install these windows because in a Promaster, if you go any further, you'll hit a rib in the van. We have a 6-inch full-size foam mattress, and to make it fit all the way against the back doors, we had to cut off the back 2 corners. We splurged on our bedding, and we actually got 100% pure linen bedding from Primary Goods, and we have loved it. It's really great in all types of weather, and we never really get hot or cold, and we highly recommend linen for van lifers. So one of the reasons we went with Primary Goods for our bedding was because they have a really cool system where the top sheet connects to the duvet cover, so there's no bunching, it's really easy to make the bed, and the duvet cover stays cleaner for longer. When we were shopping for a van, we specifically chose one without the rear windows because doors are the most thermally inefficient parts in a van. Even with fully insulating our back doors, we can still feel a lot of cold air coming through at night. Over the bed, we each have a cabinet for our clothes. With a combination of packing cubes, rolling our clothes, and shelves from the Container Store, we've been able to fit everything we'll need. In this corner of our bed, we have a reading light, shelf space for books, and a 12-volt outlet. This is what we use to charge our phones and to plug in a heated blanket when it's cold out. Then in this corner, we have a little shelf which covers the kitchen wiring, and it's also nice because it gives us a spot to put drinks when we're in bed. Now that we've shown you our whole living space, we're going to take you underneath the bed to our garage and our electrical system.
Vandalin is definitely business up front and party in the back. We didn't really finish the garage to the level that we did the interior space, but this is where all the fun stuff is, so let me take you into it real quick. We basically designed the whole van around our mountain bikes. Like we talked about, our bed is 36 inches high, and that was because we needed to fit these mountain bikes. They also take up nearly half of the whole garage, but they were essential for us. Because the bed needed to be 36 inches high, we did not even build a bike slider because the slider itself would have bumped the bikes up another inch, and it would bump the width of the bikes even more as well. We mounted the bikes directly to the flooring. We have the same insulation and subfloor in the garage, and we actually reused the flooring that came in the Promaster, that black hexagonal flooring, for the garage floor. So right next to our mountain bikes, above the wheel well, is our water tank. It's a 27-gallon freshwater tank from Valterra, and it runs all the way from here at the end of our van to the kitchen. We don't have a water tank level monitor for our tank yet, so we'll cut to this super sophisticated method that we've developed for filling up a completely solid colored tank. Okay, turn it on. Okay, stop. Next to our mountain bikes, we keep both of our backpacking backpacks, and we filled them with all of our camping and outdoor gear. Serves two purposes, holds a lot of stuff, and we can go backpacking. Next to that is a backpack with all of our mountain bike gear and our helmets. And then along the other wheel well, we have other backpacks and just a bunch of random stuff like a ladder and outdoor chairs. Below all of our backpacks, we just have some miscellaneous storage along the floor. It's not the greatest system, but it's what we have right now. Also, we have a shoe rack that holds about 12 pairs of shoes on our door here. So with all of our outdoor gear out of the way, everything behind me in the back corner of our garage is our electrical system. And it's a pretty big electrical system. Like we mentioned at first, we have 800 watts of solar on the top, and that goes into a 60 amp MPPT charge controller. That feeds a 700 amp hour AGM battery bank. We actually have two 350 amp hour VMAX tank Ultra batteries. What you can see on top of the batteries is our hot water heater with some plumbing up to the shower. This orange thing that you can see is our 2000 watt inverter. We mentioned earlier we actually are going to upgrade to a 3000 watt inverter, which for a system of our size is really good amount of power. It's going to be no problem. The final component of our electrical system is the battery isolator that takes the charge from the vehicle's alternator and charges the batteries back here. Our solar panels do more than enough on sunny days for sure, even on cloudy days. But if you get like 3 or 4 cloudy days in a row, it's really nice to have that battery isolator charging just for a backup. Next, we'll show you guys what's on the roof. All right, so let's talk solar. We mentioned a few times that we have 800 watts of solar power on the top of our roof. That consists of 4 200 watt high-tech solar panels. That's the brand. And they're wired together in series parallel. So the 2 on the front are wired together, the 2 on the rear of the roof are together, and then all 4 are wired together to go into the backup camera housing using wire glands. Totally waterproof, really unobtrusive way to get the cable into the van. The cable itself is an 8-AUG solar cable that's UV rated, and we used a 15 amp fuse for each series of panels, and then a 30 amp fuse before it goes into the 60 amp MPPT charge controller. So with that set up in real life scenarios, we've seen it be able to charge our 700 amp hour AGM battery bank at about 40 amps. And that's been great to charge our whole battery bank up to 100% pretty much every day. Those 4 solar panels and our max air fan all fit on our roof. What we did is design a custom unistrut roof rack ourselves. We used 4 10-feet pieces of unistrut, painted them all black with Rust-Oleum spray paint. We used the Ram Promaster roof mounts and fabricated an entire DIY roof rack that fits all of our solar panels and fits around the roof vent fan right in the middle. Now, if you want to see a complete list of all of those components that we used, as well as a complete guide to build our DIY unistrut roof rack, we'll link to both of those in the description below.
So that's where we live. We hope you guys enjoyed our van tour, and just as a reminder, we created a free downloadable PDF of every single item we used in our van build, and you can download that in the video description.
If you have any questions about our van build, please leave us a comment below. We'd be happy to answer anything. Also, please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel for all of our upcoming videos about van life, filmmaking, and travel. In the meantime, you can follow us on Instagram at Acts of Adventure. Thanks for watching. See ya.
See ya.